Hiya! Welcome back to Haley K Studio. This is where we like to make art for fun and not perfection. And today I'm super excited to share a fun tutorial with all of you. We're going to be making some boho style flowers, and we're going to be using my new Watercolor Favorites Procreate brush set. And it is available now in my Etsy shop. So go ahead and click the link below and you can get your own brush set and follow along with these tutorials using that brush set. In this tutorial, I will guide you step by step in creating a really pretty boho floral design, one that would be perfect for boho style wall art. But before we get started, don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video, of course, and then subscribe if you want to have more tutorials and tips just like the ones I'm sharing with you today. And let's get started. So today I'm actually going to be working in a slightly bigger canvas size with the thought that this could be something that is printed in a poster size. So this is an 11 by 14 inch canvas size, which is pretty big, but we want it to be the correct size if we wanted to paint this and put it up on our wall. So again, this is 11 by 14. Here's the canvas information. Dimensions 11 by 14. It is 300 DPI, and we still have 43 layers because the bigger your canvas is, the fewer layers you're going to have. That's just typical, so just want to be aware of that. Okay, so now that I have everything situated, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to choose my color for my sketch I'm going to make first, which I'm just going to choose black. And then in my watercolor favorites, I will choose my fine smooth liner and make sure it's the right size. So these are kind of like those Matisse style flowers, but you know, we're making them, we're not Matisse, of course. So we're gonna just start off with kind of placing where our flower like middle parts are going, or like little pollen stamen middle part of a flower. So we'll just place those on our canvas. And if you don't really like some of the spots that you put your circles in for the flower stamens, you can always select one and kind of move it around just so that it's a little less lined up, so it's a little bit more varied in the placement, and I like that a little better. It's just a little bit more off center. I don't want things too perfectly centered, of course. So now we will place our petals for each flower, and these are kind of going to run into each other a little bit, but we're not going to have them touching, but we're going to just try and remember not to take up too much space for each flower, because we want to make space for the other flower petals. We've finished drawing our flower petals and the middle parts of our flower, and you can kind of see the goal was to kind of fill the entire canvas. I went over a little bit on the canvas here and there, but that's okay. It's okay if it's not fully perfectly centered into the canvas, because this is very free flowing and it can free flow off the side of the canvas, and that's just fine. But the main goal was to make sure that most of the canvas is filled with these flowers. So now we can start with filling the flowers, and I'm going to start on the petals, and we're going to keep this drawing visible the entire time. And I'm just going to add a layer and choose my next brush that I want, and I am going to choose this round brush, and that is kind of like a basic brush for a watercolor painting, and I am going to choose a pretty pink color. believe this pretty pink color right here. It's kind of a orangey pink. And I'm gonna see what size I have it at. Like a 20% seems pretty good, and it doesn't really matter where we start. And we'll go ahead and start filling in. Okay, so now we have all of our flower petals basically filled in. I did overflow a little bit into the stamen part of the flower because I am just going to go through with an eraser to kind of clean that up. So now we have all of our petals filled, and we have erased some parts of that center so we can have some space for our stamens. You'll see that I went back and I added some low lights. So my first layer of color will add kind of the highlights, and I'm very happy with how that turned out. I don't believe I need to make any sort of adjustments to the hue and saturation to any specific parts. I like this kind of flat look of the color, but there's still highlights and lowlights. I appreciate that about it. So I am going to add another layer, and we're going to get started on the stamens, and I'm going to use this orange. It's a very boho orange, so we're going to go with that. And I think I want to change my brush to this dry, rough edge round. Each of those flowers is now filled in, and I think I want to go through and grab the highlight of each of these flower stamens. Is that what they're called? I think pollen centers, flower centers. Sorry, I try with the flower terminology, but I'm not that good at it. I'm just gonna grab like the top 3 to start, and then go to hue, saturation, and brightness, and adjust that slightly. And then I'm gonna go to the curves. Kind of adjust that to where I think it looks a little more highlight. Okay, and you can kind of see more of a difference in the highlight and low light. And then I'll do that with the bottom ones as well. So now that everything is pretty much filled in, I'm going to go through and I'm going to grab my blender, and I am going to blend a little bit of these highlights and lowlights in the flower centers. And now I am very happy with how these flowers have turned out. There is a lot of overflow over our line drawing, and I am perfectly okay with that. I appreciate that because it is that imperfect kind of free-flowing Matisse-like flower. And I am even going to place my black line drawing on top so you can see it better. And it kind of gives it a more distinct look and distinction of each of the flowers, because if you take that off, it's pretty, but it does look very amateurish. But once you add that black line to it, it doesn't have that amateurish look any longer. And I use that term lightly because, you know what, if I painted this and I put that up on the wall, I think that's really pretty. I think it's really pretty, and I appreciate that imperfect look. And so we'll just say this adds a more distinct look to it. I don't want to use the word amateur because you know what? Art is beautiful no matter what level you're at. If you did it and you had fun and you like it, that's what matters. Love what you make it for yourself. Don't make it for other people. Don't edit yourself because of what you think other people are going to think of what you've made, because, you know, I've been stuck there, self-editing and not making something because you think someone's not going to think it was cool. So don't worry about them. Worry about you and what you want to make it for you and what you love. So I'm going to stop myself from using that word ever again. But I feel like this is done. And I'm going to show a little graphic on how this could look in a really cool kind of a boho style room design, and with like a watercolor paper added to the back of it. Put that right here. I think this would be a great addition to anybody's wall art in their home. So you have your very own boho style, Matisse style flowers, beautifully crafted with the Watercolor Favorites Procreate brush set. I hope you enjoyed following along and found this tutorial helpful. If you like the style of these brushes, remember you can get your own set in my Etsy shop. It's called Watercolor Favorites, and the link is in the description below. And I would love to see your creation, so be sure to tag me on social media with your beautiful artwork. I will link my social media below, and don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe to my channels for more art tutorials and creative inspiration. And thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep creating and stay inspired, and always paint for yourself and do what makes you happy. Okay, bye.